Hey guys, it's Joette with BalloonCoach.com. Welcome to 2023. As we record, this is January 1st, 2023, and I'm so excited that today, right here, as we record this live, we've got 27 people working on their vision board and their goals for the year. And as those of you who watch this later on as a replay, there is a link for you to have a Canva template that you can use to help follow along and actually create your vision board online. And you can either just keep it as a digital image and save it as a PNG, or you can get out your paper, your poster board, magazines, print off things from online and cut out and make something creative. So the bottom line with a vision board is a way for you to get clear on what you want your next steps to be for your business and your life, and for you to be able to have a daily reminder of what it is you're working for on those days that you struggle to get out of bed or off the couch to go work on your business. Most of the people on this call are balloon professionals, but I invited anybody with friends and family to join along in this process, because a vision board can be used by anybody from a child to a student to somebody in business to help them focus in on their goals and then break things down into action plans. And when we can see them, typically as a creative person, having that vision board helps us as a creative to make those goals realities versus just having a long list of goals. So I would love for you guys who are on with me now live today, please type in the chat if you've ever created a vision board before. So yes, I've made one before, or first time for vision board. So just let me know that in the chat. You can just put first time, or I've made one for 5 years. Cool, we've done it before. We've got some first time. Another person attended a session that we had at Balloon Boss Summit in November. Then we also have done this before, starting back in 2016 with the workshops that I was doing in Chicago back then. So I love it that we have a mix. Welcome. So again, you can make this online today, or if you need to go grab some poster board, paper, markers, glue, scissors, if you've got any. I saw that I put newspapers rather than magazines. That's pretty funny. Or any other printed images. That just is fun to cut things out. And this picture up here, this was from Summit 2 years ago, as our friends were making things there, and we had more people this last year at Summit making the vision board. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump right into the worksheet that I gave you, and I'm going to do this copy so it doesn't affect any changes. Here we go. All right. So for anybody who does not have Canva yet, Canva to me is one of those tools that anybody in business really can benefit from. It's like under $15 a month, and it allows you to have access to really cool graphics. And the way this helps with vision boards is you can actually go into the photos area and just put, like, you're wanting to go on a trip to the mountains, and you can type in mountains, or if you want to have a picture of the beach, you can type in beach. So when it comes to setting up those pretty pictures of goals that you have, it's a great way if you're not able to find it in a magazine. So for those of you who have not been with me before, I'm a person who focuses forward, and I try to live life on the positive side and looking at things with what's called a growth mindset. And if you missed my training earlier at the end of December, that was on going from stuck to soar, you can actually see it on my YouTube channel, and I also put it in all of my Facebook groups, and it's in our mastermind program. So stuck to soar. And basically what I did is I talked about that as we're setting our goals for the next year, and as we're creating our vision board, it's really important for us to look at things from a growth mindset and believe that things are possible. And if you tend to be one of those people who's pessimistic and often have a limited mindset, like, I can't learn anything new, I'm not good at computers, I can't make enough money on balloons where I live, then that's what's going to happen. I'm a very big proponent of what we believe is what we achieve. And so part of this process we go through today is, when you catch yourself with some of those negative thoughts, those negative stories from the past, is change the wording up just a little bit to see yourself doing the thing that you want to do, and then actually being able to think about how you're going to feel when that thing happens. So let your dreams soar like a kite and see where it takes you. This is a really cool image that a friend of mine, Adam, made for me a couple of years ago when we were talking about goal setting. And so I really like that thought as we're going into 23, is to really let your dreams soar and see where they'll take you. All right. So here's where we're going to go ahead and get to work. So like I said, at least get out a notebook and paper to write this stuff down, or go ahead real quick and take this template and print it off. Go ahead and write it straight onto your vision board if you need to. But the first thing when we're working on goal setting and a vision board is, what is your why? So for you in the balloon industry, why do you have a balloon business? Or for those of you who are currently in school, why are you going to school? What is it that you want to do with that degree? If you're a person in high school or in middle school, when you go to school every day, what's the purpose of going to school? What are the activities that you like, and what are you hoping to gain from those experiences to help you grow into the person you want to be into the future? Or, if you're participating in a certain hobby or some other type of business or job, what is it that you want from that? So that's the number one answer. And does anyone know how to print from Canva? Great question. So here's what you do. You're going to go up to this template. All right. And then what you can do, if you hit print your design, you're not wanting to send it anywhere else to do it. So what you can do is go ahead and download it right here. And then when you download it, you can download it as a PNG or a PDF. And a PDF is what you use to print. So right here it says PDF print. And then you hit download. All right. And then when that comes back up on your computer, it's going to pop up as a file. Great question, because I forgot to show people how to do that. So now what's going to happen is it's loading to my computer as a PDF. It takes a minute. It lets you know that it's thinking. All right. And it's going to continue thinking because it's a little bit of a long thing. And then you can go here and do it. Now, make sure you only print the pages you need. All right. Because I gave you a lot of examples of other people's work. So you wouldn't necessarily need to print all these pages. So you might want to just print the first couple of pages. And then the other thing that can happen is, as you're using your part here where you go to ask to download it, is what you can do is, instead of downloading all of it, you can go up and click on take off the all pages, and then just click the pages that you actually want to print. So thank you for asking for that clarification. That is a great question. All right. And guys, again, this is interactive. There are 30 of us on currently live. So I've put the link in the chat again for this Canva template we're using, so that you can download and follow along at home. All right. So number one, what's your why? Why do you have a balloon business, or why are you in school? Why do you have the business you have? And if anybody wants to share a why, feel free to open up your mic or go ahead and type it into the chat. And so I'll give you an example. Back in 2003, the reason that I started my balloon business is I wanted to have a job that was flexible. After my daughter was born, I had to go work for Geico for a while, as I was in the transition of trying to be an at-home mom, and my husband got sick. I was a salesperson at Geico answering the phone. Thanks for calling Geico. I'm going to save you money in 15 minutes. And then I had to still sell them the policy, even if it's more money they were currently paying, and overcome all those price objections. And I worked in a cubicle every day, and it was not something that I enjoyed. And so my why was, I wanted to be a creative person. I wanted to make events happen. And I actually told my boss, sitting in a circle when they were trying to get me to be a manager at Geico and get me up the ladder in training, they're like, what do you see your future with Geico? And I said to them, I see my future as me owning my own decorating company and Geico hiring me to decorate for them. Everyone else in my unit was shocked that I said that out loud to my boss, like, oh my God, Joette, you're going to get fired. I said, no, they're trying to make me management, and I don't want to be a manager at this company. This is not what I enjoy. This is not my passion. And I know I've got the skills to do something else. And the most rewarding thing in my life that happened, as far as taking over from not working for myself to working myself, was the day Geico called me and ordered decor for me for one of their awards banquets. That was awesome. So that was kind of like the cherry on top of the icing. So guys, I'm seeing people saying that you wanted to find joy in your work. You wanted to explore a different world. You want to travel. You want to meet new people and have freedom. I want to enjoy work every day. I wanted a flexible job to be available for the little ones. All right, these are all great whys. Flexibility, more time with kids, opportunity to travel, creativity and passion doing what I love and to assist others. Um, and then this is like putting the same hard work into building someone else's dream that they can take to build their own dream. Awesome answers, guys. I love it. So there's no right or wrong answer. This is your why. And one of the things that I see happen so much in the balloon industry is there's always this comparison, especially in the world of social media now. We always think that somebody else has life better than we do, or it's easier for them, or they've had more things handed to them or whatever. And we don't see all the struggles and all the other things that go on. And so sometimes we're comparing ourselves to other people. And I want to remind you that in this journey of your why, it's about what you want and what you need for your life. And don't worry about what anybody else is doing, because everyone has a different why, a different situation that they're living in. And it's okay for your dreams to not be as grandiose as other people. Example, my friends Tommy and Scott De Lorenzo. Scott is one of our instructors for Balloon Boss Summit. They do over $1 million a year in sales. They have a fleet of vehicles. They have a team of 10 staff that were able to run their business for them while they were in New Year's Eve, Times Square yesterday, and taking some time off in the month of January, and their business still runs for them. Not everybody has that dream. Some people prefer just to be their own boss, make a small amount of money, and they don't need to have it be extravagant, and they don't need to build it big. So again, I want to make sure that you make it your vision, not someone else's vision. All right, so number 2 in this process is, what do you want your income to be? All right, so money, what do you want to be able to purchase with the money that you make from your job, from your balloon business, whatever your situation is? What is it that you want to purchase? So an example for me on my vision board last year is that I wanted to have new windows and I wanted to have paint on our house, because our house was kind of old and run down as far as the colors were. Didn't inspire me. It didn't make me happy when I came home. It was tan and dark green and kind of dreary. And we now have a bright blue house and it makes me very happy. And now my neighbors, when they're walking the block, and even a neighbor across the street the other day when Brian and I were working outside, said, I love the new color of your house. So, those things, not everybody needs to paint their house, but that was a why for me. But then also, how much money do you need to put in your pocket each month from your business to meet your basic needs? Now, some of us have a life partner or a spouse who their income takes care of all the bills, or maybe their income takes care of half the bills, and so you need to make the other half. So like, your motivation is that you need to pay half of the mortgage and half of the electric bill, or you're in charge of the water bill and the car payment. So you can only write down for you what that amount is, right? So look at what it is that you need to meet your basic needs. And then the other thing is, maybe it's that you're working to put your kids through college. Still doing that. Maybe it's that you are working to put money together for a really nice holiday vacation. Maybe it's that you want to go somewhere for your summer vacation. And so as you're going through this process, what is that amount of money to make that special trip to Disney? How many thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars will you need for the hotel and the food and the tickets, right? You're going on that special cruise. What's that total package with air flight and travel for you to go on that cruise? So putting both what it is that you're wanting to buy with your business, what it is that you need to meet those needs, and then the bottom line is then putting what is that total amount of money that you're wanting to earn from your business. All right. And then I put a little side note for those of you who are in the balloon industry. To create a basic sales goal, you're going to typically need to take that number that's right up here. What is your total income that you want to put in your pocket each month? You're typically going to need to take that amount of money and multiply it by at least 2 to come up with your sales numbers. Now, for those of you who have a lot of staff, a large building that you're paying rent or mortgage on, for those of you who have huge overheads, you may have to multiply that by 3 or 4. But I know as a base from home, if you're pricing correctly, the bottom line is you need to do at least twice as much balloon sales as you have for that total income that you're wanting to make per month. All right. So any questions so far on what we've covered? Go ahead and open up your mic and let me know if you've got a question or anything you're currently stuck on. And we've had a few new people join us. So I'm going to go ahead and in the chat, I'm going to paste that link again to the Canva template that we're following along with today so that you can do this on your own and print it there if you like. Thank you guys so much for those of you who are joining me live and doing this today. This is exciting. I love, we've got 33 people hanging out. So I'm not seeing any questions in the chat and I didn't see anybody open up their mic, so I'll continue to move on to the next step. I talk about time to soar. And in the training that I did last week about going from stuck to soar, is soar can have a couple of definitions. One of it is it can be to go to new heights, right? So that's one of the reasons I selected that word for this year, is that I want to personally go to new heights in my personal life and in my business, and put my best foot out forward. Also a part of soar is that you've got the engines set up so that you can just kind of coast if needed, right? A soar sometimes is without the engines, that you're just going, all right? And so another part of that is to put systems in place to keep the plane going in the direction that I want. So what do you want your work schedule to be like as a balloon business owner or as a student or whatever other career you have for our visitors today? But what is it that you want your work schedule for you personally to be? What days of the week do you plan to work, and what time frames do you want to work? Because for many of you earlier in the conversation, you said that I did this because I want to have time to be at home with my little ones. And that was what I thought too back in 2003. Oh, this will be awesome. My daughter's 4 years old. I'll be the perfect at-home mom. I'll be able to hang out with her, be able to help her learn her alphabet before she goes to school, and, you know, prepare dinner every night for my husband who's a teacher. So when he gets home, there's food on the table. But here's the reality. Being a business owner takes time and dedicated energy and focus. And I ended up putting my daughter in daycare so that I could take care of my clients' needs. So what I'm just letting you guys know is, yes, there are ways to build your business and have a team and people helping you, but depending on the amount of money or money you don't have to invest in your startup and other people helping you, you may be having to put a lot more time into building your own business than you did working for someone else. So I just want to be upfront with people that sometimes we have unrealistic expectations of what it means to be a business owner and the amount of time that it takes away from our family to get the things done that we want to do. So I just want to throw that out to you, right? A great question came up is it too vague to write down flexible? Flexible is a great philosophy that you want to have a flexible schedule, right? And maybe to be able to say no to the things you want to turn down. But what I encourage you to do is, as a business owner, is to kind of set up a schedule so that there is some specific time frames that you typically work. And then really that next question is, what days or half days are you going to take off to focus on your life outside of balloons or outside of your business? All right. And one of the reasons I became Balloon Coach in 2015 is I had these priorities totally screwed up, and my daughter and my husband would totally attest that I am a workaholic and that I would work crazy hours. And the only time that my husband and my daughter got to spend with me was when they were in the warehouse or in our house inflating balloons, in the car going to job setups with me and doing events. So what was kind of cool about that is at a young age, my daughter got to learn about a work ethic and about if you want to make money, you got to do something for that money. So that part was really cool. But at the same token, it made all of our trips pretty much working events. So we did get to do some fun things like Mother's Day weekend. We would take one of her best friends with us. We would go set up a prom. We would then go hang out at downtown Disney. We would then have a really nice dinner. That night at midnight, we would go take everything down. And then the next morning we wake up and we get to go swimming in the pool and have breakfast at the hotel, which is really fun because it's not somewhere we would have normally gone if I wasn't working where my work paid for that hotel and that time away. So yes, it was a win and it was fun and something different, but at the same time, it wasn't always being able to be focused on being at home or being at every soccer game and that kind of stuff. So when you write down your schedule, looking at what it is you want your typical work week to look like. I'm going to take every Sunday and Monday off, and then I work Tuesday through Saturday. That would be some people's schedules. I know some balloon business owners who take Wednesdays off. I know some people who say, I'm not going to work weekends at all. I'm going to focus on corporate events, not social events, or that I'm going to hire team members to work on the days that I don't wish to work. So when you can narrow it down a little bit and know what those days are that you want to work, and specifically the time that you're going to keep as your own personal time, that's really helpful as you build out your plan for next year.
Okay.
Did you have a question? All right, not sure who that was. All right, so great question, guys. All right, so number 4, a year from now, what are 3 things that you would like to accomplish? A year from now, 3 things you want to accomplish. It could be that I want to work with a specific client. It could be that I want to do my first balloon drop. It might be that you want to land your first $1,000 event, $2,000 event. I want to do a $5,000 event. So you might have a specific event that you want to put together. You might have a certain type of job that you want to sell. You might have a certain client that you really want to work with. It could also be like, I want to earn enough money to go on a vacation to Disney, or I want to make enough money to pay for a family cruise for all of my family. It might be that I want to accomplish in this year to actually take a day off every week or take 2 days off a month. Or I want to go on a staycation where I put my phone away and go and spend time doing something fun locally. It's totally up to you. It's your world. It's what you want. But think about next year, this time when we're talking, what are 3 things you want to accomplish between now? And then I would love to know if there's a couple things that you guys want to share. You can either open up your mic or type it into the chat. Because sometimes this is where people are like, Joette, I'm really not sure what I want to accomplish. I don't know. So if other people type into the chat one of the things that you want to accomplish, it sometimes helps spur other people's ideas also. All right, so I'm reading from the comments. I would love to learn to build framing with confidence. Great one. Another person's being honest and says, I don't know. I would love to get in with a retail business. I would like to move into a studio space. I'm going to get a van this year. Awesome goal. I put down on my vision board, I want to get 50 Google reviews. Oh, that's a great one. Hey guys, by the way, shameless plug, Joette, BalloonCoach, Joette would really appreciate some Google reviews. So yeah, BalloonCoach on Google. If you have a 5-star review for me, I would love to have that because I keep forgetting to ask people for them, even though I train on that all the other times. But that is a great one, guys. I want to be so confident with balloon drops. Yay, love that. Finally, awesome travel goal to go to multiple places. I love it. Own an event space and a van. Awesome. Work with local university, save enough to go to Disney, get a van and wrap it. Very specific goals. I love it. I want to, I like a business and introduce myself and my business. Awesome. So for those of you who don't know what you want for the future, Is there something that you did this year that you really enjoyed and you want to do it again? Is there a hobby that you've always wanted to do but haven't taken time to do it? I love to bead and make jewelry. I have all the supplies for it sitting in my guest room, but I typically don't put that into my schedule to do it. So one of the things that I want to accomplish this year is at least once a week, I want to make something with my hands. And I'm hoping to do it more than that, but I've learned that if I try to put like I'm going to do it daily, that typically is not going to happen because that's trying to push too many habits at once. So if I typically add in that, by the end of the year, I'm going to have 50 things that I've made by my hands. And that way it gives me one thing a week that I can do. Another thing that I've put on in the past that I wanted to accomplish is that I wanted to learn a new piece of balloons. Like back when I didn't know how to do pop drops, learning how to do that, or when I didn't know how to make a certain type of wall or technique, is to be able to learn that technique. Sometimes it was that I wanted to go to a specific training. Other times it was that I wanted to spend time with other balloon professionals and to focus in on our goals. And so I made time for that. So for those of you who are not sure what you want to accomplish yet, I'm going to show you another thing too that can help prompt with that. But think about maybe a new habit that you would like to create for your life. So some of you know that about 4 years ago, I took a really good health journey and I lost 100 pounds. But then over the last year and a half, I gained a lot of that back. So I've taken back my focus on a healthy lifestyle for me. And part of that is a habit, drinking water every day. And to always have the water with me and drink the water. All right. And then the second part of that is to eat intentionally foods that are going to fuel my body and give me more energy versus taking the easy road and eating junk food. So that's a new habit for me that I want to get back into, that habit of eating well. Sometimes people put a habit in that they're working on saving money. And so it's that at every paycheck, you put 10% in for savings. Sometimes people put a habit in of smiling in the morning or writing in a journal. Other habits people have is having dinner twice a week with their family. So with a habit is just think of something that either you want to do on a daily basis as you wake up, morning routine, or maybe something that you're fitting into your schedule once a week, or something that you're even doing, monthly, but what's something new that you want to work on and do. All right, I'm reading to see if there's a confident. Oh, and I love it. Somebody said that they would love to get more confident with Lincoln Balloon designs. Awesome. That's a great one. All right. So we've got the 3 things that we want to do in the new year. We're putting down a new habit. And the next part is 5 words that you want to describe your life and business a year from now. All right. So 5 words that you want to describe you. So I'm trying to get on here and shoot. All right. So for me, consistency sometimes is a problem, that I want to do something and I think about it, but then if I don't make a written plan and put it in my calendar, I'm not as consistent with things as like things that I want to do. So for this next year, I'm putting consistency down. I'm putting joyful, growing, so think of words that you want to describe either your life or your business in this next year. And it doesn't always just have to be one word. It can be a description of things that you want. All right. Again, this is your thing. It can be whatever you want. I'm going to go ahead and go through the next 2 things, and then we'll get on to actually putting it onto our vision board. So I believe my purpose is, and then at least 1 bucket item list that you would like to do. All right. So ooh, people are going to Scotland. People want to go to Greece. I love it. This is fun. All right, I love it. Great places that people are wanting to go. So, again, as you're going through this process, you're looking at what you want your schedule to be, the days you're working and the days that you're not working. Three things that you want to accomplish a year from now, a new habit you'd like to create for yourself, 5 words that you want to describe your life or your business, what you believe your purpose is, and then a bucket list item. What I want to remind you guys is the reason I encourage people to write down their goals and their vision is we're 42% more likely to accomplish things that we write down rather than just the things that we think about. And if you're in our Balloon Boss Mastermind program, or if you're not yet, you're welcome to join us the first Monday of every month. We have our ongoing training with our what we call our Thrive Guide that helps us look at our overall goals and break them into action steps. And then what we do is we help mastermind people overcoming the current obstacles they're facing using the experiences of other people in the group to be able to move forward and break through that barrier that they have. So for those of you who are in my mastermind program, just a reminder, Monday, January 2nd is that first Monday of the year, and I'm really looking forward to helping you guys create a really clear plan and then celebrating the wins that we had in 2022. So it's okay to not know what your purpose is and what you want. It's all right. It took me a while to figure that out. I know for some people, they're like, you know what, my purpose is at this point in my life, I am retiring and I want to bring joy to the people that I encounter. And I've met a couple of people when my grandmother used to live in Sun Valley, Idaho. And I will never forget meeting these really cool people who retired, and they, because we got to go camping and we went to like Canada and traveled up to the Tetons and that kind of stuff. And when we traveled, I just met these really awesome people, and they purposely, in every conversation they had with somebody, is their purpose was they wanted to compliment you and make you feel special. So it was like, you know what? When I'm around people, I want them to feel special, and I'm going to give them a compliment. And it was just really cool to see how they were really great listeners and they paid attention to the person and they would be able to compliment them. And that was kind of like their purpose, was just to be that happy person, to bring joy to others. Sometimes it's that we are working on something with a spouse or for a family member. Other times it's that we're creating a new hobby for ourselves, right? Never in a million years back in 2003 when I started Balloon Party People events did I have any idea that someday I would be Balloon Coach. That was something that came over years of people just coming to me and asking for my help. Then I developed this thing as like, yeah, I really do like to help people. I used to be a case manager. I understand social work. I used to be an adventure ed counselor where I taught people to go past their fears and overcome them and go jump off of a huge tree in the air and not be afraid of falling. And all of that combined together to become Balloon Coach. So back in 2003, I didn't know that this was my goal. My purpose changed over life. Back then in 2003, when I was a balloon business owner, my goal was to create memorable moments for my clients and to reduce their stress. That was my purpose, was to create memorable moments and get that smile on people's faces with creating things with balloons. So your purpose will change over time. And sometimes when we look at those other things that we're wanting to do with our life, we'll be able to get there. So great comment. All right, guys, so go ahead and open up your mic or type into the chat if there's any questions you have for me so far before we go to put it into the actual vision board.
Hey Joette, this is Candy. I had a question.
Sure.
Would you mind going back to number 3? I don't know how I missed it. What time frames for work? Can you explain that just a little bit more? Like I said, I must have missed it somewhere.
No, that's great. So one of the things that I found from being a balloon business owner is that my original thought was, my dream was I was going to be that perfect at-home mom and have all this time with my family. But instead, I became a workaholic and only focusing on my clients' needs and not on my family's needs. And so, what that meant is that I would work from 4 o'clock in the morning until sometimes, 2 o'clock in the morning and get like 2 hours of sleep. That's not healthy. Other times, I found that I would work like starting on Thursday through Sunday almost nonstop to be able to get jobs done. Other times I would work every single day of every single month and not have any downtime for a meal or to go to my daughter's soccer game. And so what I found out was I let other people's wants become more important than my family's needs. And so what I encourage people to do is look at your schedule. And for some people, you work a full-time job, so you already know what those hours are and when you're going to be there. And so now you're fitting this balloon business in between those hours. And so that means your personal and your family time is even smaller. So what you want to do is carve out when is that sacred time that is for you. Because what happened is several times I faced burnout where I was ready to just shut down my balloon business and not do it anymore because I was so overworked. But the reason I was overworked is I had not learned how to say no. And that when I say no, it means I'm saying yes to my family or yes to myself to go get my nails done, right? So, what I encourage people to do is as you're kind of going through this process of creating your vision board and what you want for the future, is to really think about what do you want your schedule, and is that if you say that I want to have a flexible schedule, what does that mean? Does that mean that somebody else works for you your business hours so that you can go still be earning money while you're with your family? Or is a flexible schedule mean that you just have the opportunity to say, no, I don't do jobs on certain day of the week? So a friend of mine, Diana Gladden, who will be one of our instructors at Summit this next year in 2023, she has a company policy where they are closed on Sundays. Now, does that mean that she never does a job on Sunday? No. But her typical schedule is that Sunday is her family time. She cooks a meal, their family comes together. I've actually got to be at her house in Tennessee for family dinner one time. It was wonderful. And that is a sacred time for her to have time with her family. But there are times where a client will call her that is one of her important corporate clients that she's worked with forever, and there's no other time available, so that has to be on Sunday. Then what she does is she makes sure that she's paid really well for that time when she's working outside of that regular schedule. So figuring out what typical schedule that you hold for your balloon business, and then what is that day off, or at least that half day off that you're taking. Kristen, question?
Yeah. Hey guys. So is it appropriate to tell the clients that you're essentially charging them a premium to work on your off times? Like, is that okay?
I mean, I do know people that do that. Yes.
Okay.
So one of the webinars that you may want to go back and listen to in Mastermind is September of 2019 with David Mahoney. And there were like 50 questions that people had asked him. But one of the things that he was just really clear about is that he doesn't have a problem with charging last minute fees, scheduling fees, holiday fees, those kind of things, and being really, upfront with their clients on that. So yeah, it's totally up to you how much transparency you put on that. But yeah, it's totally fine to say that. I mean, I know for me, if right now my air conditioning breaks and I have to call somebody to come work on it, and it's New Year's Day on Sunday, people are going to say, we don't work today, or for me to come in, it's going to be double charge. You think about people in different 9-to-5 jobs, they get paid an extra fee to work overnight, or they get extra time and a half for holiday pay. So it is totally okay to put that out there. And so the David Mahoney, you can actually go into the search bar in Mastermind and just put David Mahoney as the search, and then you'll listen to his one from September, so 9 of I think it was 2019. Yeah, September 2019, because that was after my summer tour that year that went to Dallas. Great questions. So Candy, did that explain things about the day off and the schedule?
It did. Yes. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Love it. All right, guys. So here's the thing. There's 100 different ways that people teach about vision boards. I've been very lucky that I've gone to a lot of different vision board classes over the years from different instructors. But the main thing that I always like to do is I like to relate it back to goals so that if even people don't get to the creative part, they at least have these things written down that can then help you form an action plan. And now we're not going to do all the action plans today because there's just no way to put all that time in. But what will happen is those of you who are in Mastermind, we break this up and that is what our first Monday of every month is about, is to help you break in those action plans. And then also our group coaching forum and our other training that's been in the database since 2015. There's a lot of information there where you can look at goal setting and action plans if you need some reinforcements to help you out with that, of taking these goals and breaking them into smaller parts. But what I want to do is I want us to get really clear on the big vision and those big things that we're trying to accomplish so we can have those photos on our vision board so that we know what we're working for. So now on those first Mondays, we can break it down each month. All right, so here's what we're going to do is you can make this on a computer or you can make it on your poster board. This was a vision board created by Debbie, and Debbie is with Balloons and More in San Diego. And she gave me permission to use this several years ago. And she and I had met and had a conversation the year that I was going to World Balloon Convention in San Diego. She and I went out to lunch and she's like, Joette, do you really think this writing your goal thing is important to do? And I'm like, what? That's all I talk about. Like every session I ever talk about is write down your goals. What do you want to do? Write it down. She's like, but is it really important? And I'm like, yes, it can change your world dramatically. And there's scientific evidence that we're 42% more likely to have things happen if we write it down. And then with vision boards, there is this whole study, and you can just Google it, Power of Vision Boards. And it will talk about how that when we set our mind on something, things are going to naturally come to us. So I'd like to give this definition real quick. Have you ever wanted to buy a new car? And so you've got that new car in your head, that car that you're looking for. And now when you drive, like that's the only thing you see on the road is that car. It's because your brain is pre-thinking about it. And so now you're going to be more attentive to find that. So the same thing happens as you write down your goals and you create your vision board. What's going to happen is you're going to say, I want to get a van for my business. You're going to be looking more for that van that you can buy that's on the side of the road that says for sale, or you're going to be putting out conversations with people of like, hey, I'm looking for a van for my business. And they're going to be like, oh, my friend John is selling one. You're going to open yourself up to more opportunities because you're putting it out there to the world and to your brain that these are the things that you want. So what Debbie did is she put down the goals that she wanted to be debt-free. She was dreaming big. She had all of that. She wanted the van. She wanted to retire her husband early. And this was one of my favorite pictures she ever sent me, was when these goals came true, is that she got the new van, she wrapped it, and she was able to retire her husband 5 months early. And it was the things that she had written on her vision board became reality. Now, did it just happen magically overnight? No. But what happened is she had that visual reminder up in her office every single day. And now she worked on those action steps that it took to help her get there. And she had it reminding her daily. So that's one of my favorite vision board stories. And I can tell you guys, it happens all the time. People are sending me messages each year. Hey, Joette, the thing that I put on my vision board, it just happened. Thank you. I'm like, yay, awesome. So what I've done is here in the vision board, thanks to Lenore with Lights, Camera, Selfies, she shared some of her personal vision boards a while back. So like she had wanted to go to Balloon Boss Summit. She wanted to have 1,000 new clients, right? She wanted to guarantee 1,000 in orders each week. That was what the 1,000 was. This is that she wanted to meet 10 new clients and reach out to 5 old clients every single week. All right. So what I'm letting you know is you can take these images and use them as your own. So right here, let's say maybe you don't like the font being in like the cursive, you can go right here and you can make it to Arial rounded instead, if that makes it easier for you to read. All right. So you can change the font and then you can change it to what you want it to be. Now, your goals might not be the same as her, so you can erase those images and put something else on. she had wanted to create a balloon menu, right? So when I went to edit this and make a different one, I had put on make a common decor guide, and I used one of the pictures from our editable templates in Balloon Boss Mastermind. So what I'm letting you know is you can play with these templates and keep the things on that are things that you want to do. Like if one of your goals is to come to Balloon Boss Summit in 2023, or you've already gotten your ticket, you can put that down on your vision board, right? But as a base, what I did is I showed you some of the things that you can use as personal goals and business goals. And the thing is, it's okay for them all to live on the same piece of paper, but just sometimes for training purposes, it's easier for me to separate it out. But I want to be really clear. Our life is all one. It's all intertwined. It's not one versus the other. All right. We create a business and a lifestyle that we want to maintain because they work together. And so that's why I talk about those hours and setting those limits and those parameters around our business so that we can have time to do the other things that we enjoy. So again, you can put everything onto one, but I have found that for training, it's easier to show you separately and then you guys combine it the way you want. But a couple of things when you're looking at business is how many events do you want to have a week? How many new clients do you want to land? What style of balloon decor do you want to sell? If you guys are in Balloon Boss Mastermind, which class are you going to commit to be on monthly? We have 4 classes now. We have the first Monday, the third Thursday, the second Tuesday, and the fourth Tuesday of the month that we're doing different things, from marketing to show and tell, where we're showing different things that we do within our own businesses, to our goal setting, to a hot topic of new things that we're learning to do. So, setting that parameter, I'm going to go to this, or like, let's say you decided that you're going to take karate class or that you're going to take a gardening class, put that into your schedule, right? So you create what you want to put into these items based on what your answers were and your goals earlier, and making those visuals. And now as you go through this creative part with the visuals, you may come up with like, oh yeah, I've always wanted to go on vacation to this place. I forgot about that. Or I've always wanted to go skydiving. I think that'll be my bucket list this month. Or this year. So I want, for those of you who don't have a lot of experience with Canva, I do want to show you just one other trick. So right here where it says health goal, I can now go over to the left, and where it says photos, I can search and I can put, let's say my health goal is yoga. I can type in yoga. And now whatever one of these speaks to me is the image that I can put in. All right. So if you're a person like, ooh, that looks like a position I've always wanted to learn, or wow, this looks like a really pretty place, or hey, this is cool outdoors. I like that. All right. So you can take that image and put this here. And now what you can do is you can say yoga 3 times a week. And then I can put it in white if I want to. I'm highlighting the whole black word. I'm going to the letter, and underneath it, it was showing me it was black, and now I want to make it white. I'm making it white, and now I'm taking that and putting that up into the image of yoga 3 times a week. Now I can delete out that box because that's what's going to be there. So that is a way logistically to use Canva to be able to grab the images you want. The other thing, if you're one of those people who wants to put everything on paper and do your poster board, is you can use these images and then print them out on your computer and then cut them out if you're not able to find them in local magazines. All right, so at this point, what questions do you guys have about making the vision board and actually doing it? Because this is the workshop part where we're going to start to do that. But I want to make sure that if you have a question, I answer it right now while the recording is still on, because if you've got the question, I guarantee somebody else does too. And then I will turn off the recording and we will just hang out and workshop together and build our vision boards together. I'll answer questions from you guys on Canva, and I'll answer other questions on goal setting also. So anybody else have a question they would like? Kristen, do you have another question, or was that from earlier?
No, I have another question.
Great. I love it.
Okay, so I just pulled out my vision board that I did with you. Don't remember when it was last time. But I've checked off a lot of the things that were on my last vision board. So when I'm creating this new one, the ones that I haven't achieved yet, I want to keep on. But do I take off the old, like the things that I have achieved? Like, so for example, I obtained my CBA at Summit. So that was on my vision board.
Yeah. So what a couple of people have done is like when I went to Diana's house, she had a bunch of them up on her wall. And so what she did is she, I think, wrote the date. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure what she did, she put the dates on them that she achieved those things. And then she still kept them up. And then as you create that new board, sometimes people will just put those other things onto the new one that haven't been met yet. And sometimes people like to keep the other ones up as like a reminder of like, hey, look, I did all this other stuff. So here's my next one to it. So it's totally up to you. Like some people will keep the old one up and then just make a new one with extra stuff. Sometimes people will transfer over the things they haven't accomplished yet to put to the new one. Totally depends on how long, how much you want visually out for you to see. Does that help? Ooh, Diana is here. I didn't even realize it. So Diana said when you move to a different board, it becomes a gratitude board. Ooh, I like that. So kind of like the things that you accomplish, you're grateful for them, and then it's like your gratitude board for doing it. All right. And so I'm seeing a question on here that's asking um, when, sorry, I lost it. I know it's not. What if we have too many things that we want to do? How do we narrow it down? So here's the cool thing about a vision board is it doesn't have to just be for 2023. It could be a long range goal, right? It could be that, hey, these are all the cool things that I want to do. This is my bucket list. And so, what sometimes people will do is make multiple things. One is that you've got like your long range, everything that you're wanting to accomplish. And that's big and bold. Why limit what you can do in your life, right? But maybe you make one that, like, here's all the amazing things that I want to do. And then what you can do is if you want to then have a separate one that's like, but this is what I'm focusing on for this year. Because what happens sometimes is sometimes when we have too many things, we get overwhelmed and feel like none of them can happen because there's so much. And so that's why I often encourage people to come in and let's figure out what it is we want within this year or maybe a couple of years. And it's not like you have to put a total timeline on it, right? Life happens. We stumble. We have financial problems. We have issues with our family needing more of our time that we're not able to focus on some of our personal time sometimes. So sometimes that vision board that we thought was going to be a year may take 2 or 3 years, and that's okay. It's that we've got a goal that we're working towards. So what I would encourage you to do is put all the things out there that you want to the world, right? But then now look at what are the things that you feel like are going to make you feel the best and make you feel like you're moving forward for this next year. All right. Any other questions before I turn off the recording? For those of you guys watching this as a replay, I do just want to show something to you real quick. BalloonCoach.com is the website where all of my training comes from. I have a monthly program called Balloon Boss Mastermind. You can watch this video right here from Jamie and several of my mastermind members who are at Summit this year that tell you about it. If you ever just want to schedule a 10-minute consultation with me or like, hey, Joette, I'm not sure what the next step in my business is, right here on the website, we have an update. Go to the bright, colorful balloons and say, book a 10-minute call. And you can book now and click that, and we'll have a 10-minute Zoom together. Or you can tell me you're not able to do Zoom and you want to do phone. All right. And then you go down a little bit further, and if you want to, you can start our Balloon Boss Mastermind program right here by clicking on this for the $97 a month. Or if you're one of those people like Joette, I've heard you have this awesome event in November every year in Orlando. I want to be at Summit. Balloon Boss Summit is November 5th through the 9th with a bonus class on the 4th if you want to help out with more of the hands-on. The CBA exam will be on November 5th. And you can go right here and go ahead and reserve your seat. Half of our seats are sold for 2023 as I'm recording this on the 1st of January. And you can click your payment plan. We have an early bird special currently going on to save you $400. If you're in Mastermind, you save another $300 off of that. Just ask me for the discount code. The 10-month payment plan does expire on January 31st. Then there is a 6-pay option and a 3-pay option. Again, if you have any questions about, Joette, I'm not sure what the next step is with my business, and I need some extra help, and you need to have that one-on-one conversation with me, you can do that off of my home page, or right here on Mastermind. It also has a place to set up that 10-minute call. If you guys are in Mastermind, remember to dive into the dashboard and watch those past replays, use the editable templates, and use that motivation to help inspire you and encourage you to take the next step in your business. Thank you for letting me guide you in this process of setting your goals and your vision for the new year. And for those of you who are on with me live, we will continue our conversation after I pause the recording.
Hey, Joe.